Okay, so let's start. This 8, let's start. So again, so the key agenda today, right? We'll be reviewing some portfolios. After that, I will share like how can we grade different stocks and categories into different categories like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. And then how you can use it to, ideally your portfolio you want to have only the best companies. And then how can I put these companies into the different portfolios, okay? Based on 100K account, based on 30K account. All right, so without further ado, I will get, so let me put up Chang's portfolio. And Chang, you can unmute yourself and you can share briefly. You can start by sharing, about your portfolio. Tell us a bit about maybe yourself, also your financial goals in regards to your portfolio.
Okay. Thank you, Wei Ming. All of you hear me clearly?
Yes, I think so. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, sure. The slides basically shows my current portfolio. You can see here in the portfolio, it has been divided into three main portions. One is the first portion called the proposed portfolio.
I did the. So, Chang, before we use
Yeah,
portfolio, right? Tell
yeah.
us a bit of your goal for this portfolio. Like, is this your retirement portfolio? What is, so see there's this like three pie chart, but what is this goal? What's the goal of the portfolio? The timeline,
Okay.
what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. The key goals that I would like to achieve ultimately with this portfolio is that I want to have a portfolio of good companies whereby I'm able to hold it long term, so that I will slowly build a pot of wealth which will enable me to retire in 5 years' time. So this is my key objective. So that's how it comes to the first portion of the portfolio where you have the proposed portfolio, which should consist of a list of companies which are of high growth and steady, and it must be less volatile. Okay. Then the second portion, which you could see, is called the non-ideal tickers. This is actually was built much earlier. That was before I joined the mentor program. And with the mentor program, that I realized that that portfolio doesn't seem to sustain. And actually, it has been tested quite well in the sense that it is definitely not ideal, and it is performing quite poorly for
Right.
this portfolio. Then you have the last portion, which is called the others. This is just a small portion whereby I would like to be quite opportunistic in the sense that where there are instances whereby I want to do some mini lip call, if not sell put, just to get a little bit of cash flow for this small others portfolio.
It trades up.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let me go back to the proposed portfolio. What I did was that I look out for those companies which are of a bigger names. I didn't really go for the multi-baggers because I'm someone who don't really have much time to do a lot of readings to find out more about the companies. So I want to go for those companies where I am more familiar with in terms of their business. So if you could see in the table there, it a big portion of it actually relating to technology companies, and of which I have some. I would say a big portion actually come from internet retail because not that I'm very familiar with this with this business, but actually in my current job, I do have quite a lot of dealings with all this internet retail companies because currently I'm working with PayPal. All these internet companies actually are our partners. So that's one part of it, and the other part is actually the credit services, which is Visa and Master. These are also the key card acquirers, which we PayPal will work very closely with. So I'm quite, in a sense that I on a day-to-day basis I deal with this business, so I'm quite comfortable with this type of companies in the technology industry. So you could see that quite a big portion of it come from these two industries.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
would say it's your circle of efficiency, right? I mean, since you're working close, you have a better understanding, and therefore, as your portfolio shows, you have the highest weightage for internet for e-commerce, so to speak.
yeah, that's correct. Yep. And I mean, because these are big names, so I'm more comfortable with the bigger names. Yeah. Okay. And in order to diversify, I also put in some other big companies to see how I could balance my portfolio. So you could see that I have a small portion come from healthcare, which is firstly is UNH, and the other one is Illumina. These are the two main ones which are from healthcare industry. And then a small portion which comprise of the ETF, which is triple Q as well as SPY. Then and there are two small portion which is for FB, which is Facebook, and the last one is semiconductors. Yeah, so that's how I want to balance my portfolio. So that actually basically comes from two main growth driver. One is actually the technology companies. The other one is just more of a steady stream will be the healthcare, and then finally will be the ETFs companies. Yeah. So let me just pause at this moment, see whether there's any question or there's anything that y'all need to clarify.
So along the way, if there's any questions by other members, you will ask Changi, right? Just type into the group chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak. It might be easy also.
Yeah.
Yeah, any
Okay.
questions, Changi just ask.
Yeah. Okay, so the main strategy, okay, after I have shortlisted these companies, whereby I do have some revaluation criteria which I've established to help me to evaluate these companies. So basically, the main factors for consideration, of course, is the financial performance, which I will use Morningstar has a key platform to help me. Then secondly is that of course, within the financial performance, I take into consideration of factors such as revenue growth, uh, s- let me see, gross margin, uh, the EPS, and then free cash flow, and also debt to equity ratio. These are the key factors that I've considered when I do my evaluation and shortlisting. And then I give a rating to each of these factors,
All
and
right.
also a weightage as well. For certain weightage, to me, they are more important than the others. So I'll give a heavier weightage that will give me an overall score and for me to rank them. So using that in a way that is more objective, because the perform. I mean, in terms of selection criteria, there's a score attached to it, so I'm able to give myself more comfort that I'm choosing companies with a better financial performance. Then, of course, I do have the qualitative aspect, which is the mode factors of all these companies given a rank, given a score as well. So that will help. That actually helped me with the selection, and with each tickers that have finally shortlisted, I have also attached a strategy to each of them. So the main ones will be mainly buying stock and hold, and then in better times, which I'm actually waiting for the next opportunities where when the market starts to rally, I will consider putting in lip call. And then for some of the tickers, if I want to own shares of a lower price, I will start also doing sell put as well. So at this moment, in terms of the split, if you could see from the maroon small box, right, you can see that a quite big portion of them are actually holding on with stocks. Actually, I have a big switch in my strategy after I've attended the mentor program, is because I realized that I'm less subject to the market volatility, especially if I'm holding stock. I noticed that my performance in terms of my portfolio actually swing drastically, in particular for the last few weeks where the market drops dramatically. So that's the reason why I quickly switch my investment strategy.
Okay. Yeah. I think I mentioned also, right? Like now, we are in a bear market, and things are. I would dare to say we are not looking at right now. If calls is not the ideal strategy, it's not the time to be aggressive with the calls yet. Okay. Yeah, carry on.
Okay, then the next section of my portfolio, which is the non-ideal trackers, these are the loss-making positions that I'm still holding on. I don't want to dispose at this moment because I'm making a loss. So I will just continue to hold on with it until where the market turns better, and then when it starts to break even and maybe make a little bit of profit, I'll start to dispose them slowly. Yeah. Then finally, the others, as I said, is very opportunistic. So depending on the market performance itself, then I will decide whether I want to focus on the sell put or lead call. But at this moment, it's more sell put and of a very small position.
Understand. Is my voice a bit soft, or you can you hear me? Okay. Tricia?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So quite soft. Okay, I try to speak a bit louder. Um, okay. So let me ask some questions. But before that, Jia Wei ask you why you don't have PayPal in your account, what in your portfolio? Yes, you are.
Oh, because as part of our employee benefits, we do have employee purchase options, which are already invested a certain portion. So I do not want to have, I don't want to increase so much of my position in PayPal.
Understand? That's cool. Okay, just thought okay, right? Just curious. What is your top few, your top three companies that you have the most conviction on?
The top ones will be Visa and Master. These are the two main ones because their running cost is pretty low if you understand how the
Yeah.
business runs.
Okay.
So this is the top two. The next one is actually internet retail, which is Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you can see that I actually have a big positions within this sector.
Okay. So actually, I don't want to go through all the companies in detail, but at a glance, right, I think all of them are pretty good companies. You have your own filtering process, right? And I'll share more about my own filtering process later. But I think as of now, most of the companies are pretty good. I don't mind having them in my portfolio. And again, there's no right or wrong. Like for example, I might not have Costco, but I think it's a good company. It's one of the good retailers that all the retailers that is doing quite well in this landscape now. And semiconductors, TSM, some of you might know it might be semiconductors is quite a cyclical industry, right? So that's something to think of. Other than that, I
Sure.
think it's really okay. Then I think it's fine. You have this your green portion where it's more for opportunities. Like you want to sell some food to get some premium. Let's say you do a Tesla. I think it's fine also. Just be so for this how I do it. Sometimes I also have this portion. But if I'm selling a put, right, or let's say Tesla or Shopify, I want to be sure that I'm okay to own the shares of the puts that I'm selling.
Okay.
So I will rather I'm selling like every time when I'm posting like the last few weeks when I'm posting trades on like selling puts trades, you realize I'm selling puts on on companies that I want to own in the first place. Like I don't
Okay.
mind a bigger portion. Like for example, if my favorite company is Visa, I don't mind selling a put on Visa, and then if I own extra 100 shares, I'm cool with it. So this is just something to take note. The last thing you want is you sell a put on let's say Tesla, but you don't really want to own Tesla for whatever reason, and then your others are suddenly become your non-ideal pickers.
Understand. Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is
that's some,
something that
so,
I'm fully aware of. Yeah.
yeah, so just something to be aware of lah. Then
Sure.
so you have your non-ideal pickers, right? The blue portion is quite significant, 25%. Yes.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
your reason for not closing them yet. Sorry.
It
What's your reason for keeping them?
is because they are making losses now. I don't want to dispose them at a loss.
Mm,
Yeah. So I mean, I don't mind holding on with it at this moment. And in fact, if you look at stocks, it's fine. You can just hold it as long as you want. Then for Coca-Cola as well as UV, actually I have 100 stocks which I'm doing a sell call now
okay. So
to
let me
average
check,
out.
right?
Yeah.
I think all of you, so everyone pay attention, right? Although this is Changi's portfolio, but all of us might have the same problem. Firstly, right, you remember the very first question I asked Chang is what is the goal of the portfolio before she even dive into her portfolio? Because we need to understand, like, what we want to achieve. Like, let's say my timeline from now to retirement is 10 years or 15 years, and I need a certain amount of money. And if if I reverse engineer how much money I need to make, that will determine my ROI. Then, like I need to grow at a 20 or 30% ROI, or I need to grow at 50% ROI. That will determine what kind of stocks I might have in my portfolio. So this reverse engineering process will be quite important, which I will cover later. But back to Chinese portfolio, right? She's saying she has 25% of her portfolio that is, what we call the trying to wait for it to at least break even or make a bit before we close it off, right?
Yeah.
And I think everyone will have a portion of these companies. So the question I want to ask you is, if we look at it from a different way, right? This 25%, can it be put to better use somewhere?
I'm struggling with that actually.
So,
It's like,
so
should
let
I?
me tell you,
Yeah.
like, let's have just a conversation. So
Yeah.
while you're waiting to recover this loss, right? Like
Ah.
maybe 1 day, 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever, right? Or within these 3 months, if you take the money to put into the companies that you like Visa, Mastercard, or whatsoever, right? Do you think you can might make more also?
Actually, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
so right now, right, you're comparing recovering a loss versus like new gains. And as investors or as human beings, right, a loss, like this loss of a same amount, let's say $100, it's more like, let's say today you lose $100, right? It is more painful than you make $100. Like for example, if for example, let's say in the wallet you lost let's say $50 note, right? It's more painful than if you saw a $50 note and you pick it up. Does that make sense? So this is a very simple analogy.
yeah,
But it's the same $50.
understand.
So your net expected value is the same. But but the emotional, psychological pain is more. So which means like maybe the equivalent would be losing $50 is equivalent to winning $70 or $75. Does that make sense? But so this is based on emotional calculation. But if we look at monetary calculation, which is what we are looking at, right? Actually, isn't it better?
Yeah, understand.
So if you understand this logically, what is the next step?
On a day where the market is slightly better, I may want to consider dispose them. Yeah.
Correct. So this is something everyone should think of, right? Like I'm not saying you tonight when we say tonight when market open, I need to my 35% close like down now. You can take the next few weeks to the trade, but it's not I don't have a benchmark. I need to wait for it to recover to break even or something. That is like a very like it's a very negative anchoring thing. And if you look at 25% every single day, it's not a positive thing also.
Yep,
so
understand.
You want to ideally ship it out. And so what? Like even sometimes you close it. Let's say you have Coca-Cola. Just nice because today close Coca-Cola, tomorrow Coca-Cola goes up. It's fine because the money that you close out from Coca-Cola, you take back the margin, you put into let's say Visa or Mastercard, for example. Visa might not go up immediately tomorrow, but you know what I mean, right? In the long run, your body will play out. So, and then why are we delaying it? Because we are anchored to the losses, correct? All this like I forgot what bias it is, but you guys understand, right? So we do not want to be anchored by this. So one way, a tip that you guys can do, everyone can do, right, is you imagine that 25% to be a white paper. It's a 白纸. That means you imagine that 25% is totally free right now. So that means if right now, I'm not sure how much the 25% is. So let's say just for easy calculation, let's say it's 25K. Right now with 25K extra cash, what can you do with it? Pro rata into your proposed portfolio. Do you think it might be better?
Yeah. Understand.
Right? It should be a resounding yes, right? So I think not just for you, but for everyone. So I think almost everyone, if your portfolio is not ideal, this is something you can do. And how do you know your portfolio is ideal? Because this top percent is very painful to think about. You need to think, because firstly, you need to acknowledge that you make a mistake in your selection, be it by chance or what. And so one way you can do, right, is every time I look at my portfolio, I will take the net liquid amount. So net liquid means like right now if I stop everything, this amount, right? And this is the true value, right? Yeah. So this is the most important value. How much I lost in this, what is the recovery break-even point? Doesn't really matter. Because I know right now if I stop, like let's say some of you might have Disney shares, for example, if the pain of holding the Disney shares there is like, so but if you close it right now, what is the true value, right? And using that money, if you put it on companies that are better positioned right now, like better placed companies, do you think will be better? Could be. So, but some of you are looking at your portfolio and all you see is like losses. So what you want to do is you want to give yourself the clarity and not be tied down by these losses. So what you can do is you just let your thing swim. Don't need to look at your positions. Just look at your net liquid figure. There's one number only, net liquid figure. And then just imagine today you start from scratch. You have 0 positions. How will your portfolio be like? Okay, so you do so that's your ideal portfolio, yes. If I restart everything, this is how my portfolio will be like. Don't take the amount that your initial capital that you start with before this job. Take the amount right now, the net liquid figure. Okay, what amount you started with doesn't really matter, but it's right now what you have that's important, right? It's like if I'm fighting a war, if I'm a general and I have soldiers, right? But I'm fighting a losing war for the past few weeks. I lost some soldiers, but the losses don't really thinking about the losses don't really help me to win the war. I need to think about how much soldiers I have right now, which is in this case, your thing of saying how many thousand you have is how many soldiers you have, and what is the best use of these soldiers right now. If the soldiers are in the wrong position right now, although they are suffering a loss, it's not about winning the battle, it's about winning the whole war. So right now, it's not about individual companies getting back to break even. It's about how can you make the most money for your whole portfolio. Does that make sense? The very same 5,000 that is trying to get back to break even before you close it could be better used on some other companies right now. I think you get the idea, right?
Yep. Understand.
So I think for almost everyone, that could be there could be something you can take away from this also.
Yeah, very useful.
Okay, so after today, what you probably can do is don't even think about the 25K, how you're going to close it. Just think about, let's say the 25%. What can you do with it first? Then you can, because you need to, if you close it, you need to know how are you going to utilize it better now. I'll think about what can you put it. Think about how many more shares of Visa or MasterCard or Facebook or Amazon can you buy first. Suddenly you see the light, you see the brightness. Okay, then you go and deal with the darkness, which is closing them off one by one. Okay.
Okay, understand. Yeah. The proposed allocation for the under the proposed portfolio, I do have already some indicative numbers per each positions. So I can actually, as what you mentioned, I can quickly go back, to my calculation. I will know that if I were to release this 25% capital, how I could actually reallocate it back to this, to put it to the proposed portfolio, to further strengthen, the positions under the proposed portfolio. I will do that.
So actually, right now your proposed portfolio, right?
Yeah.
Is the allocation, in terms of the percentage, is it your ideal percentage? For example, internet retail you have 26% plus, right? Is that the ideal percentage? Do you want it to be more or less? Or
okay. It's still there are rooms to increase actually. So ultimately, what I wanted is that I only have maybe just 14% just for the others. The rest will be mainly should actually come under the proposed portfolio. And in terms of the percentage of allocation by each industry, I already have an ideal number which I could start to see which are the one which are under, which are the one over. Then I can actually make adjustments accordingly.
Yeah. So this is how you want to look at your whole big picture.
Yeah.
So let's say the others is 14%, which means your proposed portfolio by right should be 86%.
Yeah, that's correct.
So right now you need to see your 85% should have what, and right now you have what, and then so your 25% should adjust accordingly. Yeah.
Okay, understand.
Yeah. So Kang Yi, you were saying I mentioned previously, do not sell at a loss. Maybe what's the context of that sentence?
Well, as what you say is so. It really affects you in the sense that you have to.
Kang Yi, because Kang Yi just typed in the group chat. Not.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I'm not sure if I said that or when I was saying it, what it was the context of it. But in this context, when you are looking at like the whole portfolio, if it's a loss, I think it's okay to take. It's okay to take losses. Like don't, as an investor, right? Just share a bit on the mindset. like don't be ashamed or like feel guilty or feel sad or have negative emotions attached to having a loss. You know, Warren Buffett, not every stock he pick is growing money on, correct? But a good investor will know when to cut the loss. And when to cut the loss, as long as the bullish thesis change, correct? So for example, I can be very bullish on Visa, my favorite company, right? But one fine day, if Visa is, so I'll go more into the Visa later, but if one fine day Visa is no longer growing as much for whatever reason, I need to be able to cut, correct? So this is the whole idea. Don't be married to the stocks that you have in your portfolio. And
Okay.
Jia Wei have one question.
Okay.
Should she just sell it by go and generate income? So this is a very so Jia Wei's question, right? Is what should she do with her Visa shares? That is very dependent on her individual situation, which is back to my initial question. Like, what's the goal of the portfolio? The timeline is a part of it also. Uh, like how many years are you away from retirement, and do you need this portfolio to give you like some dividends or some 2 or 3% every month or something like that? Or if you might have, or some people might have like uh, extra funds tucked away, like on some local REITs or local DBS bank or that kind of thing for dividends. So that will depend on your very specific situation. Which, if you want to, Changi, if you want to share, you can share. If not, so this is dependent on individual. Yeah, if I want to just own Visa shares for the next 20 years, I can no need to generate any income on it. Yeah. Or about Changi, do you have any plans for any of your companies?
Okay. I'm still thinking because at the end of the day is that I'm in a process of see how I could best leverage on the portfolio, because what happened is that let's say when the market start to rally, okay, then of course proportionately all the stocks will start to perform. So
Yeah.
there will be some which actually will perform better than the others. So let's say take for instance, if my initial allocation of funds to Visa, let's say is supposedly should be 10% of my entire portfolio, but now because it outperforms the rest and become, let's say, 15%.
Yeah.
Then it's really a decision to see whether do I want to, as what you have taught earlier, is like to trim it and then re-enter, or I will just leave it and continue to run while I continue to inject more capital inside, and then to again to reallocate the additional capital to the portfolio. So
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
something that I'm still thinking what is the best way to achieve the overall goal.
Usually what I do is I might trim now. For example, in the let's say early this year, like Tesla, because Tesla went up so much, it it the portfolio is skewed, right? And it's too much of my whole portfolio. So what I do is I trim my position. Yeah. So,
And then
yeah.
after you have trimmed it, like let's say, as I mentioned, it's supposed to be 10, now become, let's say, 15 or 20. So
Yeah.
you trim it back to 10%.
Yeah.
The remaining, the excess amount that you have trimmed, you will use it to redeploy, right? And probably buy other positions or maybe in the same position as well.
Yeah, I can use it to deploy the 5% that I trim. I can deploy it to other companies, or I can put as cash, wait for a job to deploy. Also,
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Okay. Understand now. Okay,
fixed and
sure.
fast to it. And when it comes to trimming, right, it's not you try to trim into the exact dot. Like exact is very
Yep,
hard. So yeah.
understand.
So there's some questions on lead cost. For lead cost, again, I mentioned like from the get go, like right now, I do not want to have too many lead costs. Like if you're asking a question, will this thing recover? Like if the lead cost is 2 years out, is there enough time to recover? I would think so, but it's not a yes or no question. It depends on how this whole market, how long will it take to recover. Obviously, the faster it recover, like if we're going to recover over the next 1-2 months back to the new highs, and that's great. But if over the next 1-2 years the market continue to go sideways, then your lead call will lose money. So because of that, the best way is don't have too many lead calls. You don't want to be like you don't want to have your whole portfolio to be just losing the time decay, right? Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Changi?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do not have much for you. I think your portfolio is quite okay. What you need to do is, yeah, you're not ideal figures. You want to start to see how you can what you're going to do about it, and
Sure.
try not to be anchored by the losses thing.
Understand.
I mean, logically everyone understand, man. But so the goal here is not to understand it really because you understand it before even today's session, but how to don't let your emotions or control your way of thinking. Control your brain. Right now your heart is controlling your brain, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think most of us don't have this problem too. So it's all about that. Then what is the best way to do? Write it down on pen and paper. Because if you just think in your head, your heart will win.
Sure.
Yeah,
Understand.
so but if you write on paper and then your heart, the emotion is not as strong. Yeah, so it's
Sure.
It's like very cliche, but it's like just try it. Okay, I was in the same position before. All right.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much,
I'm
Remy.
sure you go and give you a virtual clap in the group chat.
Thank you so much.
All right.